Look, black and blue lives. Yeah. That's a new vibe. Black and blue lives. That's a new vibe.
How do you agree so like when you see the property like this?
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday. It is 8 p.m. ish. It's 8:18.
Hey, some video difficulties.
Nah, but it's okay. This is Black and Blue Lives. I am Prince Blue. That is my man Jay Step. And as you can see, once again, he's a live correspondent from Florida. Um, what's up, yo? Like, why do you keep leaving me here? I feel like the unwanted anchor that gets all the shitty gigs, and you get to go on destination.
I don't know, man. You got to do it first, man. That's what's nice about being retired. So I got my background view, tiki torches.
Hmm.
I got the sun setting over here. I'm on the west coast of Florida, in Naples, reporting
Don't say
live.
tiki. Don't say tiki torches. Don't say tiki torches.
I know what I won't. What letter I won't use.
Don't say tiki
After
torches.
okay. Man torches, the fire torches after.
Just say heated sticks.
The heat sticks. The man
There
sticks.
you go. But my man Jay Step is in Florida. He took a vacation again, and I'm here pulling a hard duty back here. But we gonna be in the same destination one episode. We just trust me. Black and Blue Lives is not going anywhere. We're gonna be on a lot of broadcasts from destinations. We just gotta link it up, and then we'll get it done. But as y'all all know, it's Wednesday. It's our time, so you know what we focus on. We focus on the mental health and the community aspects of everything. But today pretty much wrote itself. I was working out today, and I bumped into a police officer who was in his second officer involved shooting, and he's been out for a while. For those who don't know, a lot of times all you got to do is just tell the doctor you're okay. You don't see leprechauns, and you're back out on the street after a shooting.
3 days
But
is what it took me.
yeah, he's been out for months, and he's really struggling
Good.
with his officer involved shooting, and he was really I felt bad because he was asking me about his level of mental health care, far as from the therapist that the department is providing and things of that nature. And he felt like the doctor doesn't care. It's no connection. It's all about, hey, you got your 45 minutes to an hour, then after that, that's it. And he was asking me, and I told him, I said, hey man, because it's police work is in his blood, and it's in his core, and he wants to get back, but he's not feeling right. And the thing I told him was, I know you want to get back out there, and I know this sounds like an oxymoron, but in this selfless job, you have to be selfish, because the person I know and who you
Absolutely.
are, if you're out there and you're not 100% mentally in the game, you're no good to yourself. You're no good to your brothers and sisters in blue. You're no good to the community, and you're no good to your family. So you got to fix what's going on with you first before you get out there. And that's the issue what police are struggling with, because we want to help. We want to do what we felt like we were put on this earth to do, but mentally we're just not there, Jay.
No, you're 100% right. So in my shooting, and a lot of people know who's watched it before. My partner got shot beside me. I was in a 7-minute shootout, 82 rounds fired. I shot 32 rounds. Uh, I was out for a total of 3 working days before I went back. And for me, it wasn't the fact that I had to shoot somebody. I fuck the bad guys, dude. They're trying to kill me. They shot my partner. I don't give a shit. That doesn't bother me. Uh, it's the intensity of being in a shooting, and you've been in one, Blue. Regardless of your training years on, it's kind of surreal, and when it happens, but it's the intensity level, and then how do you adjust? Uh, Especially that's his second one, and now I guarantee you after his first one, he's like, hey, it's just a matter of time before it happens again. It's gonna happen again, and then it happens, and like shit, and it's a dose of reality to know that it just reminds you that it's. And for me, it felt like it's not when, or I'm sorry, it's not if, it's when it happens again. And I just every time I'm going to call, stop a car, I'm like, okay, here we go again. And it came close. We got a shooting a year after that. Uh, I was talking to somebody the other day. I fired my weapon 5 times in line of duty, and been shot at multiple times. Uh, and it's you kind of deal with it when you're in the scheme of things, but nothing prepares you mentally to do that. And the only time I felt, and I'm sure he's the same way. The only time I felt normal is, I didn't shy away from danger. I was kind of like a adrenaline junkie at that point. I wanted to find it. I wanted to kick in doors. I wanted to jerk people out by the hair. I wanted to find the bad guys. And the only time I felt normal was when I was dealing with high stress situations, when people were trying to kill me, run away from me, ram our cars. I felt like I felt normal because my intensity level was so high, and I was expecting to be in another shooting. The only time I felt normal was when I was in a high stress situation. So, and a lot of people with PTSD, and people don't realize, we don't shy. We're not scared. You don't shy away from danger. You look for it, and that's a dangerous thing being a police officer. I don't know how many times I put myself at undue risk jumping out on a group of 5 or 10 people by myself because I didn't give a shit. And I was like, I want somebody to try me, which is not safe and not good, but uh, it's scary, man. I know what he's going through.
Yeah, and it's so weird because, man, you got to make a decision. My mental health, making a living. And they kind of go hand in hand because if you go out here and do something stupid, you ain't going to be making a living either.
No, no,
But when you talk mental health, departments don't want to hear that. The first thing they're thinking is,
no.
okay, give me your gun, go
You're a
home,
liability.
figure it out.
Yep. Ed,
And there's
Ed, for
nothing
me,
you can do.
Ed, we had a good chief at the time when I was in my shooting, and he called and checked on me. And I had some other supervisors I worked for in the past. Some I was surprised actually called and checked on me, but they did. But a lot of people I hear from, they don't have anybody check other than their people. So when I say my people, I mean like people that work with me, the people that my direct supervisors, that gave a shit. But you feel isolated.
Jay, how many times you get a random text? Hey man, I got your number from so and so. I'm just checking on you.
Dude, it is huge.
Like,
And it, I encourage you, if you have a buddy. We always talk about buddy check, hashtag buddy check with uh, one of the officers who started that hashtag that works at Charlotte. But we check on your people. If something happens, check. It didn't have to be a shooting. He wrecks his car, he's injured, or he wrecks the car and injures. Any high stress. How you doing, buddy? That means the world to me. And I'm a bit. I always talk about John Collins. John Collins retired in 2011, 12. I worked with him and thought a lot of him. And when I was in my shooting, the next fucking day, he was at my house to check on me. And that was huge, right?
talk about how that felt, what that meant to you.
It, and in the what happens in my situation, the incident keeps replaying over and over. I mean, hundreds and thousands of times. I mean, that's all I can think about, right? For months and months and months. He kept playing over my mind. Did I do everything right? What did I do? My partner got shot. What if I would have, did I do something wrong? Should I shot sooner? I mean, you second guess yourself, right? So you can't do that. It's hard to do, but it's going to happen. Uh, uh, but just having that support of people checking on, I had I mean, my phone was blowing up, and a lot of times I didn't have the number saved. Who I didn't know who it was. Hey, buddy, hey, brother, I'm just checking on you. And I knew when they call you brother, you're their other cops. So, and
Oh,
I'm like,
definitely, no doubt.
it means the world to me that they're thinking about me, and that's what I say. And the problem is a lot of admin. I had a lieutenant at the time, and same thing. He came to the house the next day. I think a lot of him. And when people do that, when they actually give a shit, it means a lot. But there's people that you think that would reach out, maybe certain supervisors or admin, and they don't give a shit. It's and the departments not only here but other places, they just don't do enough to take care of their people. And since Dr. E left, they kind of screwed Dr. E over, and he's the only one at the department in HR was really good. But Greg Payne, who was in HR, is not there anymore, and he's the only one that I felt like gave a shit. And then Dr. E, who's a psychologist with tons and tons of experience, gave a shit, but they kind of ran him off because he cared and tried to help people. And the officers I speak to now, who's been an officer of shootings, they say no one reaches out to them other than their buddies. That no one from administration, no one. The doctors don't give a shit. They get people who drink the Kool-Aid, the doctors, and just say, okay, they don't want people to have problems. They don't want to deal with the problems.
And let me tell you something. And my wife can tell you this. Like, those numbers on the back of your insurance card, it's not just for if you get a boo-boo or if something's wrong or if you want to go get a checkup. Look on there. It has different prices. It has medical, specialty. Specialty is when you with your psychologist, your dermatologist, stuff like that. When my EAP was up, I would call around and see who takes my insurance and how much it is per session. And I will use my own money. I know that money may be tough and stuff like that, but you never know. Like, there's a lot of off duty out there. Hey, it's nothing like investing in your mental health, especially now. You have to take your mental health in your own hands
Oh,
because
you have to.
nobody else is
And
going to do it for you.
even now, it was bad, and I know the video quality here because I don't have any lighting is bad, but
Don't worry
uh,
about it.
but what is bad is, so once I couldn't, I was having issues, I was needing help, and I went to the department and said, hey, I need help, I'm fucked up, and that's hard to do because people, especially as I was a sergeant over the street crimes unit, and well, yeah, so. Well, I think they moved me to third shift. I was in third shift university after my TikTok videos, but it's still hard to do because you have this is it manly reputation, or you think you do, or you want to be manly, but I was having problems, man. It was affecting my relationship with my son and my family. And when I went to ask help, they like, oh God, we'll do anything for you. Let me know what you need. Give me a gun. We'll drop you off and take you home. And that was it. I mean, literally, that happened in October of last year. I retired February 1st, and I didn't hear from one person to this day from administration other than my direct supervisors who checked on me, who gave a shit. But no one from admin. When I medically retired, no one was like, hey, thank you for your service. They still won't send me my badge and my plaque because they're mad about my podcast and my social media videos that I do to raising PTSD awareness. So that they're trying to punish me for speaking out and trying to look out for these officers.
Because it wasn't helping them out. But we got a couple comments. I want to read them real quick. One from your lovely wife, Ann Steph, who says, I was able to find a counseling service that gives 6 free sessions to law enforcement and their family members. And my wife, who's a licensed clinical therapist, said, please utilize your EAP sessions. You can typically get 6 to 10 free sessions. And these are the things that I implore police, first responders. You look for these services, like on the wall where they have all those pieces of paper. I promise you, one of them is EAP. Call that number, check on the
Yeah.
services, see what's
And
available
here,
to you. I'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how many services are catered to you and your specific job and what you do, and is willing to help you.
Yeah, and here in Charlotte, at least the FOP will comp 6 visits uh, with a Presbyterian psychological service. That's who I use. But even now, I mean, years after, once I didn't start getting treatment until October. I'm still seeing a psychologist. I'm not ashamed to say it, twice a week, and I probably need to
Same.
see him more.
Yeah.
But just because uh, the years of trauma that we deal with. So, and a lot of it is feeling the way the department. I felt like the department abandoned me was the isolation. You feel like you put yourself on the line and you dedicate yourself 130%, missing anniversaries and birthdays and everything. And then when you need the department, you expect them to be there, and they just isolate you. So that's why. And two, I've got a couple buddies who are moving to Florida to work with other law enforcement agencies and give a shit. And the difference is, you know, when they're talking to the dudes down here, when they came to a ride along, they were like, "Hey, we love this place. We should have came along a long time ago." And then, but as well as me, when somebody from out of town would come to Charlotte to do a ride along, they're like, "Why the fuck do you want to come here? Like, this place sucks." There's nothing positive being said.
And that sucks. That stinks. And you know what, Jay? You know what's funny? Um, I got an email from my daughter's school that the carpool lanes and stuff are crazy. And one of the things in the email was, I know parents have been mentioning that they want a police officer to help with the traffic, but due to shortage of officers,
There's
we
nobody
we
available.
we, we there's nobody available. Are you kidding me? I remember when there would be tons of traffic jobs, and cops would take them all the time. You telling me that we're that short staffed, we don't have anybody to do traffic anymore?
And it just shows you that, and a lot of the people who used to do off duty, like after the stress of this job now, they don't
You
want
want to go
they don't want
home.
to put they don't want to
You
put
want
this
to
uniform on.
go
They don't
home.
want to stay. It's not worth the $45 an hour, uh, or
It's
whatever the off duty
$45
rate
now.
is to. I think so. For like traffic.
Shit.
Somebody commented if it's not. But I think when I'm send me, I could probably like borrow a uniform and do traffic. But I always what let's bring this up too, kind of off subject. But Blue, tell everybody what we got to do on Monday. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that at the
Okay,
end.
okay,
I
we
was
can
going to
do
talk
that then.
about that at the end. Yeah, I was going to.
Stay
Trust me,
tuned.
I was going to cover that. Stay. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's so weird, Jay, because it's like I remember, man. I remember when I came in 2009. Of course, the economy was a little bit bad, so they couldn't. They had to. They had to send people away for like having like a hangnail, a fifth
Oh yeah.
toenail. Like they had to find a way to disqualify candidates because it was that many applicants. Now,
They said there were
go ahead.
2,000 on average, 2,000 people per academy class would apply, and they would 35 at that time. How many were in your class?
See, I was part of that whole class when that large stimulus package went to
Oh yeah.
the police initiative. So our class was big. We had class 158. I think we had about 70 something, and we
Oh damn, that's
graduated
huge.
68. Two of them
That's huge.
dropped out. Yeah,
Because what is it, 35 to 50 usually in a
it's
class,
yeah, but now it's like 23,
and then
24.
but in a couple of them they try to do bigger ones. They get 50, and then they graduate with like 19 or so, whatever the number is. Uh,
People like forget this.
no, absolutely. But it's at the time it was two. They said 2,000 people applied to be in the academy class per time. So you felt like one, if you got it, that you're doing something right, and it's something that someone wanted to do. Now they're begging. Now they have an officer initiative where if you, I think I'm quoting this right. Well, if you refer someone who gets hired to the academy, you get $1,000. If they graduate the academy,
Ooh.
you get $1,000. If they graduate
Ooh.
PTO, or I'm sorry, is it graduate the academy or PTO? Maybe it's if they stay a year. It's either one of the two. Either the PTO,
Ooh.
they get another $1,000, so they get up to $3,000.
Ooh. But let me tell you something, man. Like, it used to be like, just think about it. Think about it. Like, you got people on their resume, they were special forces, they were pilots, all this crap, putting in applications, and me, oh, high school diploma, worked at Finish Line, had the military. I beat some of those people out to do this.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
imagine that feeling that they saw something in me that they didn't see in a guy that's probably
absolutely.
killed people with a sardine can key and can
But
do it
now,
all, can run, jump, skip, hop. I I got picked over that guy.
well, and now you have your master's degree, right? So they probably
Right.
saw the determination and motivation you had. But you you know as well as me, unless you have military or experience or degree, you're not going to get hired at a
No.
large agency. But
No.
I mean, but people think, oh, cops just have GEDs and they're cops because they don't want to do anything else. That's
No.
not true at
Not
all.
anymore.
We I
No.
I could do a lot of those things and make more money. Well, I don't know. I made pretty good money as a 100 grand when I topped out. Sergeants are making 100 grand now after 3 years, but which is not bad at Charlotte. But there's other things you could do with a lot less stress.
Right. So when people be like, "Oh, anybody can be a cop these days," I promise you, you sit on some of these large agencies such as Charlotte, you sit in some of these selection boards, they're fighting each other because these recruiters are like, "Hey, I believe in this guy," and then another recruiter's fighting for their guy, and then you got the majors and the captains saying, "I don't want this guy, I want that guy." These things are competitive. You think an NFL draft room is competitive? To pick because you don't want to be known as the recruiter that recruited the next serial rapist or
Oh yeah,
adrenaline junkie that's out here doing crazy stuff in a uniform. You don't want to be that recruiter. So you're pretty much you're putting your reputation to be able to sense something in somebody that can do this job and represent the department well. And when you fail at that, that's on you. So imagine all that pressure on top of they let you know as a recruit, they let you know, hey, um, just to let you know, I stuck my neck out for you. You only had a whatever, you only had a GED or whatever it is, or there was other people better than you. Imagine that pressure.
yeah.
Hi, Shannon.
And is that is my feedback okay?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
But the whole
That's
thing
that.
is, I was just gonna say real quick while you was getting your mic and stuff together that you was a lateral, so you had some experience coming in, which was fantastic. So that's the good part. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know the type of person you are, Jay. And so when you do your TikToks and you do stuff and people try to come at you a certain way, I'm like, man, I know this man. I've known this man for over a decade. I'm pretty good judge of character. Like, I'm not going to hang out with somebody or start a show with somebody that has some crazy ass
and
ideals about themselves.
and I'm glad you brought that up because I made a video. One, if anyone knows me, I don't take myself very seriously, right? I'm a humble guy. I don't take myself seriously. I'm goofy, right? I admit I'm goofy.
Very
A lot
goofy.
of my videos are meant to be funny and goofy. I make fun of myself. So I made a video. If you haven't seen it, I think I posted it on my other social media too. So it's on Facebook. Anyway, there's a video that was posted by some talented guys, right? They come in and it's got 141 million views. They're doing just a little. What's the name of the dance? Is there a name to that dance, or is that?
I don't know, but it's a trend where you.
Yeah. So so I look at, well, that looks cool. What if I do a video and put my police vest on and that I own CMPD? So don't do a search warrant for my house looking for CMPD property. But uh, that, hey, community police, and I come and do it. There's hundreds of people doing duets. A duet is like where they use the background and do it. So there's nurses and there's construction workers and just random people. So like, it would be
All
cool if I
type
do
of
that.
costumes.
Yeah, so I come in and I'm like, do it and show the handcuffs and shake my head, which means no, I'm not here to arrest or enforce anything, community policing. And then I do my dance. Well, it took me about 47 takes. So it's bad when that 47 take was the best I could do. I was like, my shoulders are hurting from having to. So I'm just like, whatever. But and I know I can't. I don't claim to dance. I don't claim to know how to dance or any of that stuff. But I thought it was cool. But the hate, I think it's got like 26,000 views in the last few days. But the hate that I'm getting, like, you need to kill yourself, pig, racist. This is racially motivated. The stuff that people are coming up with, and I'm beyond giving a shit what other people think, man. I almost like it when I piss people off, But what they don't realize is when they leave all these comments, it just makes me get more views because my algorithm. But there is nothing racist and you know me, and there are people who know it. But just how they take things out of context is ridiculous. But that's how society is now. And we talked about that when we met with Steve and those guys too about some of the stuff that we'll talk about. But uh, it's hard. It's just one is just it can be people being trolls, but so many negative comments about just negative, like kill yourself, pig, and all that. People and I, but and then there was an email that just came to me right before we went live was about FOP sent a letter out to city council. Apparently, they're trying to give the 5% back hazard pay for officers, and which I don't know if is enough. I don't know if there's been 60 officers as of the other day. The 60th officer in New York City had died of COVID, and my father. I don't know if you don't know this. This just happened last night. I got a call. My father got admitted to the ER. He has COVID. My mom and dad both have COVID. My dad has diabetes. He's at a quadruple heart transplant, and they're both. My mom got released earlier, but my dad's in the hospital. I mean, he's in pretty bad shape. Had to get transported by medic this morning because he has COVID. But this, the public service people make, fire, police, the nurses, they expose themselves willingly. They know the risk. And they need to be compensated. They need to be taken care of. But it's just like, oh, it's just hazard of the job. That's what you're supposed to do. But there's a lot of officers. If you follow the Officer Down Memorial page, there's officers daily that are dying all over the United States of COVID. It's a dangerous disease. So why wouldn't City Council do more to take care of our people? And then another subject, they want to make the COVID vaccine mandatory for officers, and you know as well as me. You tell military, you were in the military, Blue. You tell military guys what they have to do, or cops. We all have the type A personality. They're like, fuck that shit. I'm not going to do it just because you're trying to make it. So
It's just because like everybody else is telling us what to do. Now you're trying to tell us what to do. So no, it could be like, hey, we're going to give you $1 million tomorrow. I don't want it. Like, wait a minute. Whoa.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just so used to saying I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I want $1 million, but and you're exactly right, Jay. It's just crazy how many things that officers are trying to get to make it a little incentivized, because now it has to be. When you got cops that don't want to come to work, that don't want to be here, or quitting, your department is low on staffing, you got to incentivize the job. If there was a time where you didn't have to, like after 9/11, you had to shoo people away who wanted to be cops. Now it's like, what can your department do for me? Like, why should I go play Starsky and Hutch, Rambo, Cobra? Why should I go do this for 50K, 40K, whatever it is? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I doing
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, and especially over the last few years, it's not only before it's like, okay, well, it's a dangerous job, right? You could get killed,
Yeah.
right? That was the main
Okay.
thing. Now it's like, okay, now I could get sued and lose my livelihood, my retirement. My departments would probably throw me on the bus if I do something that's right within policy, or I could end up in prison. You know, some cops end up in prison because they need to, but some of them don't just because something looks bad. Or the department throws them on the bus, or even if you don't go to prison, they're like, all right, well, let's charge them just like they did Carrick. They screwed him over. Let's charge them just to make it look good. And fuck that dude. They're like, fuck him. Just let's throw him under the bus. And in my opinion, I'll stand by my opinion. He didn't do anything wrong. He did what he was trained to do, and they ruined his career and really, I don't want to say his life because he's a strong guy, but really screwed him up, to say the least.
Yeah. So with that being said, we just want people to understand, like we went over officer involved shooting, the isolation that comes with it, the mental health aspect, how admin can better help these troops. And we say all that to say it's called self-care for a reason.
Yeah, don't
Officers, people out there, you have to take control of your own mental health. You have
don't
to.
don't wait for someone to tell you have to do it. Check on your buddy. The bad call, you know, things that there's things that I've experienced that I've never talked about. If it's you know, maybe some what always bothered me with the tragic, wrecks where innocent people got killed, and kids or something would happen, and but that messes with you just as much as some of the other stuff. So check, your buddy went a call and maybe an infant died or someone got killed in a car wreck. Check on them the next day. Hey, how you feeling? How did that call mess with you? You know, um, we are fire did a good job with checking on their people and ask them, hey, how did that bother you? How did that call bother you? How you handle it? Ask them questions because we're prideful type A personalities in law enforcement and public safety. Um, you don't want to say, yeah, that fucked me up, right? But
Right.
but if somebody came to you, hey, well, yeah, I couldn't sleep last night. Uh, or I'm in Walmart and I see a kid who looks like the kid whose brains were coming out of, tragic stuff. It bothers you, and that's stuff that you have to get help for. And don't wait till somebody needs it. If you've been in law enforcement and working agency more than a year or two, you probably need to start seeking counseling before this stuff piles up. Because, like I described it before, it's like apps on your cell phone at a certain point. Uh, you're going to have to start dealing with the room. So you download 100 apps and you're allotted 105. Well, once you get to 100, you got to start dealing with that. And the apps are, analogy for the memories that you carry. At a certain point, it might be 10, it might be 3,000, whatever you get to. When you get your point, you got to start dealing with it. If you don't deal with it, you're in trouble.
Absolutely. And we say that too. I know Jay is on location, so that's why he's going in and out. But so we're gonna close it up with something cool happened with the Black and Blue Lives show family on Monday, courtesy of your lovely wife, and she mentioned in passing she has a wonderful, fantastic organizing business where she organizes your home, your office, your life, your refrigerator, your junk drawer, your countless jersey, your sneakers, your dirty t-shirts that you don't want to throw away. I'm talking about myself. Um, but she deals with some very high end clientele, and she mentioned in passing to the one and only the Panthers great Baltimore wide receiver great Steve Smith, and he sounded very interested in the concept of what we was doing, because for those who don't know, Steve Smith is very heavy in the community here in Charlotte and other places. He does a lot for the community, and I don't mean just throwing money at it. He's similar to Cam Newton, where he throws his time, his energy, his focus, and he does it with the same intensity he did on the field. He does it off. So he invited us to sit in on Monday on his very successful Cut to It podcast. So we sat in with we got freaking Steve Smith right there recording an episode. He's in front of
And
us. He
Joe,
does his show. Joe, um the other name is passing me, but I'm so sorry. But they're sitting there, they're doing their thing, and then when they're done, I kid you not, he takes his headphones off and he's like, "Guys, what you got for me?" And we asked him a tons of questions about preparation, meetings. How does he prepare? How does he talk to a guest that's great? How does he talk to a guest that's not so great? How does he handle sponsors? How does he handle disrespect? So much stuff that we did.
it was a great learning experience, man. We learned a lot, and I'm thankful for, especially as someone that has a successful podcast like they do. And all three of the guys were super. Even the guy doing the audio, super helpful. Was it Queen
Queen
City
City
Audio or Queen
Podcast.
City
Queen City
Podcast?
Podcast. Yes. They were fantastic to us. They were accommodating. They were open to all the questions that we had. Steve, man, he was a good dude. This is his organization, www.stevesmithfamilyfdn.org. He mentioned that his brother's a firefighter. He has a fantastic story.
He's a good
Self-made,
dude.
just good
He's
dude.
passionate about his job and what he does. Like we were about policing, and he really could relate to us. I felt like, and he gave us some
Yes,
really good ideas, and he thought what we were doing was positive. But
and
it
that
was a
was
little
the
awkward.
great thing. Yes,
It was a little awkward because he kept looking at me and he's like, dude. I think he said, I'm not sure, but it was like, dude, you're a lot bigger than me. I don't know. Did you hear him say
yes. Because when it was time for us to take our picture,
that?
let me bring up our picture. You for let me bring up let me let me bring up the picture. You for some reason, which was so funny to me, you wanted to stand on the outside next to
Oh
me,
yeah,
and
yeah. What do
Steve
you
was
say,
like,
Oreo?
"Nah, we gonna do an Oreo. You get your ass in the inside." But it was great.
Oh, they were down
Um,
to earth, man. And they're
yeah,
they're it was a great opportunity, man. Those guys were and I enjoyed spending my time with you, man. And a couple times they were talking about sports stuff, and I had asked Blue. I was like, Blue, hey, what are they talking about? When they talked about certain things, like who's that dude, or what did he do? Because I don't keep up with that stuff, but Blue's right on top of it. Him and Steve were talking about throwing names back and forth and talking about sports stuff, and I was just nodding my head like I knew what I was doing.
yeah, and it was so fantastic, man. And I just want to thank them again. I want to thank your lovely wife and for there's a better picture. There it is. Your lovely wife and for
We all
setting
got
that
black
up for
t-shirts
us.
on.
Yes, we all had black t-shirts on. Two of us was black. Fantastic. The color scheme worked.
I'm
It
pretty
was
sure
it
he.
was
I'm pretty
phenomenal.
sure he was like, man, I wish this guy would block for me if he knew how and coordinate. He coordinated. That probably wouldn't happen.
But it was fantastic, and that just shows that people are listening, people are understanding, people are getting behind it, and we thank y'all for that. And we're gonna we welcome all support, and please continue to do so. Um, you could find me at Real Prince Blue on Twitter, TikTok, all social media. J Step, you can find him TOG4280 on TikTok, Step 2289596 on Instagram. Um, I don't know. I made that one
I
up.
don't know, but I do want to say somebody created a fake account recently. It's Jonathan.step. And I don't know if it's on
What?
Facebook. Yeah,
Somebody parodied you?
yeah.
Somebody
So
created a parody account? Yo, you
it,
made it.
I'm important, but if you get an invite or request from Jonathan.step, it's not me.
Yeah, it's not you. So so somebody's wife is getting getting invited for a ride along for Jonathan dot step. That's not this
Yeah,
J step.
yeah. So if
That's
you're
not that J step.
getting appropriate pictures or comment, well, I guess they wouldn't have pictures of me, but if you're getting anything appropriate, it's not me.
Yes. His IG is step2223. God, you're such a goofball, man. Two two
I know.
two three.
Yeah, that was my code number when I was a deputy. So, but before I went to CPD, check it out. Same thing on TikTok. Check out the videos. Let me know what you think. TOG 2223 or TOG 4280 on TikTok. I don't
Yes. I got
TOG
it right.
42.
That's
Okay,
right.
yeah, you're right.
So everybody, thank you. Thank Jay for coming in. I know it was hard. His audio and everything wasn't great, but I thank y'all for hanging in. He's on location again in Florida, so that's why everything's a little hectic in the back of them. They got lighted sticks. So
Light sticks.
I tell y'all again, make sure you check
Hey,
on your buddy.
real quick, what do we not call Detroit?
The D.
The Big D.
Yeah, the big D.
If you go to
Nobody
Detroit,
no.
please don't call it the Big D
The
when you go
big
to
D.
Detroit.
Don't be like, yo, I'm trying to pull up in the big D. Just don't
Yeah.
trust me on this. Trust me.
Watch
Pause.
watch Steve Smith podcast if you
And
want to
you'll know
clarify.
what I'm talking about. All right, man. Thank you everybody for listening. See you next week. Hopefully it'll be a little more well, it's always cozy for me, but this guy, I don't know where he'd be. He might be in Alaska next week. But make sure you join us. Make sure you check on somebody. I don't care who it is. Just ask them, are they okay?
Absolutely.
Make sure you check out hashtag buddy check. Make sure you check out Steve Smith's Cut to It podcast. And if you missed this live recording, it will be available. Whatever good audio we have will be available on the podcast for Apple and Google. We are out of here. Everybody be good. Catch y'all later.